15 no fruits that will break One Piece if real. So I might end up yapping a lot. It's not my intentions, but you know, I have a lot of great takes. Off rip, I'm gonna name 3 that will break the world. The Opi Opi no Mi, or no lost fruit. Any kind of Logia will break the real world. Because how do you even stop that? And then the Trimmer fruit for sure.
Thought to yourself, wow, I mean, I wish that this power would be in the story as well. Well, I had the very same idea and asked all of you to submit your wildest, most powerful and incredulous devil fruits that would absolutely break One Piece. And you won't believe how hard it was to sort through almost 2,000 submissions from all of you to pick out just 15 of the coolest devil fruit powers that honestly you will probably ever see. Okay, but first of all, let's start with just how completely insane this contest developed. Because after the very first minute, 60 seconds that the contest was open, I already saw 3 banger devil fruit ideas, and I just
was that the giraffe?
This was going to be a massive challenge to pick just 15.
And also,
I just have to give a huge thank you to everyone from all over the world who submitted your devil fruits. I mean, I just love to see that this amazing community comes together so much in such an awesome way to come up with these powers. Although, of course, I have to be honest, I did not take into consideration any submissions that were actually already fruits in the story. And if there were repeat devil fruit submissions like the over 100 water fruits, the full AlrMalikk hockey fellow, and the 37 air/wind type fruits, then I just had to pick the submission with the best explanation of powers and limitations. And yeah, speaking of limitations and weaknesses, I mean, any submission that was just insanely stupidly broken with absolutely no restrictions whatsoever, like the universe fruit that just lets you literally do anything that you want, I had to throw out those as well.
I read this wrong. Wait, you guys have been correct me. I read this so wrong. This is 15 no fruits that will break One Piece if real. I was thinking 15 no fruits that will break the real world from One Piece. That's like how I read it. I read that so wrong. Hey Lurker, how you doing, yo?
Because there's no devil fruit in the story, as you know, that doesn't have some sort of restriction or downside to its power as well. And the final disclaimer here is that this video is not just about strong fighting fruits, but also in general includes those ones that are just stupidly useful in many other creative ways and would break the world that way. And the perfect example of this is the first one on our list, which is the Botoru Botoru no Mi, the bottle fruit submitted by Martin, which basically has my favorite devil fruit design in this entire ranking. I mean, look at it. It's just this like super creative like ship in the bottle theme. But now, what does this fruit actually do? Well, it does give you the ability to shrink anything down to a tiny size and store it inside a pocket dimension inside one of these bottles that you can create, which doesn't sound all that special at first, maybe, but let me explain.
Wait a second.
Imagine you're stuck at the red line, but you don't want to go underwater to Fishman Island. Well, with this fruit, you can just put your ship in a bottle and carry it over the red line in your pocket. Or imagine that you want to just sneak attack kind of, let's say, Marineford, for instance. With this fruit, you can literally keep an entire armada in a single bottle, and when you're ready to fight, smashing the bottle will release the entire army, which is simply incredible for sneaking around and transporting anything, storing anything, but it also—
How do you think of that? Like, that's extremely creative. The only needs to like steal from him, take his idea. Bro, the bottle fruit? Imagine if, let's just say Garp has a fruit. It's a bottle fruit. And then he can just like bottle up entire, fleet, and just bam, out of nowhere, a fleet is just like thousands of Marines. You're done. Because he has a bottle fruit. It
has some truly overpowered combat abilities as well. For instance, you can trap fire
Your monster showing up, that's fire.
In a bottle. Yeah, lightning in a bottle, and then release it to defeat an opponent. So yeah, truly a not only insanely creative, but also overpowered and incredibly useful devil fruit. Plus, again, that design.
The kidnapper.
Well done, Martin. Thank you. However, even this insane ability here is not as useful as the Senti Senti no Mi, which was submitted by Musa from India. Now, this power is absurdly broken, and if used by the right person, could completely tear down the entire world government, let's be real. That's because the ability of the Senti Senti no Mi lets you learn anything about a person or object by simply touching it. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Now, to perfectly demonstrate how broken this fruit is, let's say you ate it and then touched a poneglyph. Well, you would now know not only what it says, but also who made it, when and where it was made, and possibly even where the others like it were placed around the world. Or let's say, if you touched a world noble, then you would learn all their dark secrets.
Wait a second, you will be like the best fighter ever. Let's just say you have this fruit, and then you tap on Mihawk. That means you're gonna learn all of his like skills on how to do stuff. It's almost like, you know how in Naruto, like, your Sharingan can, like, read people moving, you're like, and you can see, like, their movements? It's like that, but, like, you know what they're gonna do, but it's in your head because you touch them. Dude, that's broken. Down abilities? Exactly. You're gonna do everything. So I can hear him under a speaker? Oh, you're good, you're good.
That the world government would never want you to know.
Not for real,
so yeah,
Luke,
if that isn't an insanely overpowered fruit in a pirate treasure hunt kind of story, then I don't know what is. But that's not all, because in combat you could use this fruit to learn all of your opponent's weaknesses and then come up with the best way to counter them. And really the only downside to this would be that you kind of trans out for a second here. However, even the incredible knowledge that you could gain from the Senti fruit doesn't compare to the god tier abilities of this next one.
What's the next one?
Because with the powers of
what is a banana fruit?
Snail fruit, model, Denden, Mushi, you can instantly communicate with people all over the world. Which you might be saying, well, normal Denden Mushis can already do that.
Why would you want to do that? That's so pointless.
Lets you communicate with literally anyone without ever needing the snail phone in the
first
place.
If I got that through, I'd be so mad.
Let's be honest, how many times during battles are you going to pause to pick up the phone, right? And this fruit truly shines with the ability to have group calls inside of your head, because in case you don't know, Den and Mushis work telepathically, that would basically let you instantly coordinate with your entire squad/army to strategize during an all-out massive war. I mean, just imagine how useful this power would have been when the Straw Hats were lost in the forest during Skypiea, or during the chaotic battle of Onigashima, where there was literally people fighting all over the castle. And in fact, this power would be perfect for a strategist, let's say like Sanji, who could organize everyone to fight in the best possible locations. Which again, yeah, isn't a super broken combat fruit on its own, though you would be a zone fruit, so you still get all the boosts from that. But in a world as big as One Piece, instant communication with whoever, wherever, would be one of the most overpowered abilities.
Wait a second. No, this is broken. Wait. No, wait. I was thinking about it because, okay, I might be a Naruto for this, right? But I was thinking of, like, you know, in Naruto, there's a character named Ino, and she can do the same exact thing, but not like extremely long distance, but like she can. And I was thinking about, like, let's just say the Straw Hats are in a fight. They can gang up on somebody properly. You can tell each other what to do without the other person knowing. It's not a useless fruit. I take that part back.
Next fruit here, though, is 100% a devil fruit idea that I guarantee you probably have never heard.
Yeah, Lurker,
and that's because a lot. Kiko from Italy submitted one of my personal favorites in this ranking, the Game no Mi. Or I guess in Japanese it would be the Game no Mi. And now we've had many really reality-bending submissions, but this one is just so unique and interesting that I just had to include it on this list. Okay, so basically, this fruit allows you to turn yourself into a video game character and treat the world around you like your personal RPG adventure game. And that, for example, means that you can just pause everything during a battle to give yourself time to think. You can keep a hidden inventory of up to 999 items, and you can even save your progress up to 3 times and then return to one of those save points.
Dude, that's OP.
Come on. Who wouldn't want to have this fruit? And just imagine you're about to get absolutely, like, let's say, crushed by Kaido. Well, you can quickly just quit and restart that boss fight. Though again, only 3 times. Simple as that.
It's
and
like, what
what is a video game without an incredible power-up system as well? So every time that you defeat an enemy, you gain stat points to level up your strength, your speed, your health.
Okay, that is pretty broken.
Kind of like the sandbox game where you can just like put points to like different abilities you have physically. Plus you can get item drops and money for every enemy that you defeat.
Oh, I'm not bad at video
games.
Let's
be real, with
so imagine maxing out all your stats
like this, there of course have to be some limitations. So you can't just restart as many times as you like. There has to be a limit, like a certain number of times per day, and every time that you restart, you lose any experience and loot that you might have gained since.
Wait, hold up. DK, take that back. True, useless fruit for Malik. I'm the best gamer on YouTube, best gamer on Twitch, Kick. What else is there? Twitter? Listen, I am him. All right, you've seen the gameplay.
Safe. Also, pausing during a battle or a fight that you're kind of like already investing a lot of energy in dramatically drains your stamina even more. So it's not like you can just do that on an infinite loop forever. You still lose that power that devil fruit users have to use for their powers.
It's not
and
cap,
speaking
it's
of
facts.
time fruits, though, dozens of submissions have had time-based powers, but South Africa's Hassan submitted the so-called Chrononomy, the time fruit, which had, in my opinion, the best combination of super
like
awesome
the Wizard King from Black
powers
Clover?
with quite reasonable limitations, I think.
Probably.
And that's because this fruit gives the user the ability to create time bubbles around themselves, and within these bubbles, they can freely speed up or slow down time, kind of like what Law's Room does, which is absolutely devastating, of course, if you're fighting someone one-on-one, because while you both would be moving at the same speed inside the bubble, you could easily confuse them by changing the rate of speed at any given time. And of course, time would be flowing normally outside the bubble, but if you're moving super fast inside of it, then you could quickly dash around a battlefield to avoid attacks or simply get to the other side by, creating bubbles here or there. And in particular, this fruit would be perfect in a situation like the birdcage from Dressrosa, where you would make a bubble around yourself and the flamingo to effectively speed up the fight against the former warlord before the strange could do any more damage to the city. And then, of course, awakening this fruit could also mean that you could create bigger time bubbles, but this power can also leave you quite exhausted physically, so you'd still need to be pretty strong to use it efficiently on a consistent basis. Which honestly is the exact opposite of this next fruit, which might have the highest power ceiling, but also the lowest floor of any fruit on this ranking. Because this is the so-called share fruit, which was submitted by Kudi from Japan, actually. And this one is a little bit complex, so make sure you're paying attention.
I pay attention all the time.
The base ability of the share fruit allows you to essentially share your physical abilities with another person. So basically, you get weak, they get strong. The catch here is that once the person that you gave your powers to dies, you get both your power back as well as all the strength of the person that you shared your power with. And so let's say if you're both just regular people, once the person dies, you'd get double the power back. But let's say you give your power to someone super incredibly strong like Zoro or Kaido, then once they died, you'd get all of that strength back from them in return.
Dude, that's
and so really, over your entire life, your power could grow an insane amount depending on how many times.
Let's just say you have that power and you're in the world of One Piece, right? I would give somebody my power, set them up like a rat, like Shakes, and then get them killed. And then boom, all that power comes back to me. I'm winning. Dude, that's broken. Nobody's gonna be able to stop you.
And actually, I'd love for a power like this to even have like some sort of extra special ability, kind of like, Law's Immortal Surgery or something like that, where the power of each previous user is then transferred to the next person who eats the fruit. So I guess kind of like one for all powers from My Hero Academia, which means that you won't get much power if you're the first person to eat the fruit.
But if you're like
just imagine if you're like the 10th person to eat it, then basically you'd have gone
the one that's in One Piece.
You eat the fruit, and I could see it be something like, let's say like the secret treasure of Marijoa, where it kind of gets passed down through the generations, making each successive person stronger. And now, it might sound a little bit crazy to say, but the next power in our list makes you an even deadlier weapon than any of the fruits that we've discussed so far. And that's because not Rowan, which is, I guess, you're not Rowan then, he submitted the so-called Juju fruit, and man, do I love the concept of this one.
Bro, okay, yo, Rowan. You made a fruit called doo-doo? Bro, come on, man. Bro, what do you do? Like, you... Bro, what?
Let me explain it. By touching an opponent or anything, you can basically drain their normal abilities or essence, such as speed, strength, and endurance, and then turn them into large drops of liquids. You can then take these drops of power and give these abilities to yourself, an ally, or even an inanimate object. So for instance, if you were fighting Luffy, you could drain some of his insane stamina and absorb that stamina yourself. And an awakened form of this power could even let you take powers from inanimate objects like fire, fire and then give those powers to another person. Plus, there aren't that many downsides to this fruit either, but one that maybe makes sense is that you don't just gain your opponent's powers forever. Once you use up the amount that you drained, then it's basically gone. Also, of course, if you have strong Haki, you could probably resist the fruit, which I guess is the case for most other devil fruits as well, but only if they have stronger Haki than yourself. But if you thought that this power was incredibly versatile, then just you wait until you hear about the Zodiac Devil Fruit submitted by Falcon Fig of the United States of America.
It's a bullet fruit.
With this being the only zone
in the top
15 except our
to the biggest bird
fruit, you can bet that it is insanely creative.
The gun devil.
The original idea is that this fruit would grant you the power of one of the zodiac animals, but honestly, I think making this a mythical zone fruit could mean that you can freely transform into any of the zodiac animals. I mean, just think about the incredible diversity of powers. You can easily sneak around as a small rat, or you can blast your way through an entire army as a massive dragon. I mean, I can just imagine the rabbit having super speed and something like the ox just being an insanely durable tank. And since this is the Zodiac we're talking about, you might even get an extra sort of power boost depending on the time of the year if it lines up with the animal that you're using right now, kind of the star constellations. So yeah, I think quite an awesome power to use in basically any situations, because it gives you 12 forms to choose from basically depending on what you need. So love the concept. However, nothing is as powerful, I think, as Derek submitted Devil Fruit idea, which is
Bugger, you know, okay, so I went over this before, right, in the old video. It was talking about like the Koski versus the Warlords. Right. Because, you know, Hito has two weapons. He has a scythe, and then he has his pole. Right? The scythe would be useless. However, the pole, I think, would work. As long as you puncture him, because it's not cutting, it's poking. Two different things. He pokes him, right? Gets his blood. And Buggy's dead. So, I mean, he's cooked.
Is the sub no mi, which no is not what you think. It
that's what I gotta
instantly
say about that.
lets you subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this. Plus, there is an infinite amount of these fruits out there, so
that's what I gotta say about that.
You know, eat the
is
fruit.
Buggy faster? Oh, most definitely.
And this next fruit though is almost
he done lost a
deadly
Shikamaru.
to even put into the story if we're being honest, because Ludwig from the Czech Republic submitted the Kinoko no mi, the mushroom fruit, which is a
Toby, now
ability
you're
that
onto
turns
something.
you into a mushroom person. That kind of is mushroom spores. I mean, yeah,
Ew.
I said that. Mushroom spores. And if you know anything about mushrooms, well, then you should know that this power can be absolutely terrifying and absolutely lethal, because as a mushroom spore person, you can turn your body into literally billions of tiny mushroom particles that could spread through the air, and if someone breathes in these spores, then, well, it's basically game over for them, because mushrooms have a ton of really insane effects.
True.
Yes, there are a lot that heal you, but some are so poisonous that they can instantly kill you. Others can make you hallucinate or even make a person
Aren't they called
fall asleep, which means that you're basically untouchable from close range, because anyone who hits you would be immediately exposed to all these tiny spores.
You know what's crazy?
Even a step
if we really think about it, all the devil fruits are useless when Haki exists. And that's why I said Haki ruined One Piece. But like, I didn't mean like it ruined it, but like it makes devil fruits like more on the useless side because Haki exists. It's more like a Haki off now. You know what I mean? Not saying like it's useless,
awakening this fruit could let you turn your entire environment
into
mushroom spores as well.
Chopper
which
beats
means
Goku.
That a whole battlefield could instantly become a poisonous minefield for anyone who gets too close to you. Yeah, definitely very OP, but also very scary ability, and I would love to see that one in the story actually. And while this next devil fruit on the list might not be as obviously powerful at first glance, it is simply one of my favorite abilities in all of anime, and you'll see why, but it has never shown up in One Piece,
Ice cubes.
and that is the Dice fruit, which, yeah, I know Mr. One's fruit has the same name, but this version submitted by River from Canada involves actual black and white dice, you know, the one you use for gambling, and
they look like ice cubes.
Let me explain how this absurd power works and why I love it so much. So, first of all, the user can summon a 6-sided die which has the numbers 1 to 6 on each of the sides. And then they throw it out, and whatever number it lands on, that effect is instantly used by them. Now, what could these effects be?
I was about to say, what would the
I'm glad
effects
you
even
asked,
be?
because River actually supplied a perfectly balanced list of awesome abilities. Rolling a 1, for example, lets you blast the dice at your opponent kind of like a bullet. Rolling a 2 causes a flying wicked slash, kind of like a curved scythe that can hit multiple opponents. A 3 causes damage to an opponent and anyone within at least 6 feet radius of that person,
What do you
kind of
mean,
like a
like,
small explosion.
damage?
A number
Okay.
4 causes a raining dance of blade-like dice to rain down on
Oh,
the
that's not that
battlefield.
bad.
Rolling a 5 instantly
could
lowers an
survive
opponent's
that.
speed and stamina, and then rolling a number 6 makes a floating dart that hovers around the user to attack anyone who gets near you. Which, if you ask
It's
me,
just like a
is
random
just
dart.
amazingly
Darts are
cool
even
stuff if
lethal.
you ask. I
Wait,
love the
what?
random like gambling
That seems
side to it,
pointless.
but of course the downside is that you can't exactly choose what power is used at any given
Yeah.
moment. Reasonably also, there might also
like
be
an
like a short
RNG
cooldown
fruit.
time before you
That's
can
what it
roll your
is.
next die, so if you really need to roll a 4 and rain down blades on a bunch of opponents, you might not get that anytime soon. I mean, if you love math and statistics, calculate
I
it
see what you're
yourself.
saying,
But now
Ray,
for
I
this
see.
next fruit, something completely different. I want you to think about the one
Yeah, it
thing
does
that
seem
you
mid
want the
icicle.
most
I was
in
thinking the same
world right
exact
now.
thing.
Is it a giant stack of money?
Yes.
Passing great on your next exam?
I'm not scoring now.
Delicious sushi roll? I don't know what you want.
Hot take. Sushi is overrated.
Please for me
Facts.
though, the sushi roll. Well, with the Hoko
Never
Hoko
had?
Nani submitted
Really?
by Ali from the US,
The yondu
thank you,
fruit?
Ali, you can create a magical compass that kind of puffs up that will then lead you to whatever you
WT.
desire the most in that moment. You know, kind of like Jack Sparrow's
Jack Sparrow.
compass from the Pirates of the Caribbean
Oh, wait,
movies,
it's
if you
just
know
like a,
about that. So yeah, finding the One Piece, like, no problem, like, at all. With this fruit, just follow the direction that the compass is
That defeats
pulling
the
you
point of One
towards,
Piece
and
with a fruit
you
like
will
that.
find it eventually. It could
you better
also
not
help
cook
you
it.
find another overpowered devil fruit to sell or give to your friend, and it even has applications in battle when you really think about it, such as guiding you to find the best path to winning. And you can probably even create a compass on another person, which will guide them to what they desire most as well. But
Right.
now, I know that a bunch of you have been waiting for this next ability because it was the most submitted devil fruit,
The snake
after
snake
the
fruit.
water fruit, and that
Blood
is
fruit?
of course
Ew.
the blood fruit, which again, there
Oh, it's
was
like a bloodbender.
ton of fantastic
Wait a
of
second.
these ideas
A
submitted.
bloodbender
and
on
I
One Piece
thank
would be
you for
nuts.
all of them, even if yours isn't the one I picked right now. But the option I chose in the end was submitted by Tarush Pathak from India because it just has the best
Seafood's
description
trash?
of
Whoa,
powers,
horrible
along with
take.
really realistic limitations as well. And like the name says,
Sushi isn't
this
bad,
fruit,
it's
of course,
overrated.
allows you to produce and control blood. Halloween, I guess, is around the corner. Now, that means that you can whip out deadly blood slashes for long-range
Yeah,
attacks.
that's
You can make a
broken.
blood sword to fight in close combat.
Absolutely
and, yeah,
broken.
you can even control the blood inside of another person, which kind of creeps me out a little bit.
Have you
but
guys
I
seen,
guess it's
The
something
Boys or
we
Gen
all
V?
really seem to enjoy.
The blood powers are crazy,
But of course, there also
man.
have to be limitations on this simply broken ability. So for this fruit, we would probably have to say that you can't make anyone kill themselves by stopping their blood, for instance. I mean, that would just be way too evil, but you can slow down or speed up someone's blood to a certain extent to make them slower or to help them heal faster. You could
Gotcha.
also physically control their movements, so you can be an evil puppet master. Of course,
What?
controlling another person can be overcome if the other person is strong enough, so even if this isn't guaranteed to
Dude,
win
that's
your
like a
fight,
better
it's
Doflamingo.
still just, I mean, insanely
Forget the strings, you got
powerful and,
blood.
a little bit gory, but
A lot big
you
gory.
guys
Now.
really love it, so this is why it's it. Let me tell you though, if I was a devil fruit user, I would not
Very
want to
okay.
fight this next devil fruit even more, because at number 3, we have
Leech?
the leech fruit,
Ew.
submitted by Fata, which is a German
Dude,
word.
leeches
but
are
is
so
that your real
gross.
name? I mean,
Look up a
if it
picture of
is,
a leech and look
and
at
this
it.
fruit's powers are basically
Those things are
just like
nasty.
what it sounds. It lets you slowly drain other people's powers, which is similar to the dew fruit that we discussed
Oh, so it's like
earlier,
the same
except
fruit.
this one drains devil fruit abilities, not just strength and speed. And that of course means that it's the perfect power for a long drawn out fight against a devil fruit user, because
Whoa.
if you can survive long enough and keep the fight going, your opponent will eventually get weaker and weaker over over time just by being around you.
Okay,
a perfect
that's
example for this would be a
broken.
marathon-like fight
That's
against Kaido that
broken.
Luffy had, which if you had this fruit and could survive for as long as Luffy did, you might actually stand a chance at taking down one of these powerhouses if you just keep them busy.
I can't wait to get to
And to
Wano.
take it one step further, a possible awakening for this fruit could also drain your opponent's normal strength as well,
I think we're
which
almost
means
there,
that
too.
in a long fight, you're basically guaranteed to win if they don't like get you right out of the gate. Though even this leech devil fruit is not as overpowered as this next one at 2, which I'm honestly kind of shocked that it does not already exist in One Piece in the first place. And that's
What?
because Sahaj from Nepal submitted the Yume Yume no Mi. Thank you,
It's the
Sahaj. And
moon
which in English,
fruit?
I guess, would be the dream fruit. And this fruit is mind-blowingly
Yeah,
useful
essentially,
in
yeah,
just
pretty much.
so many situations. I mean,
Where
the
you right
first power
now?
of this fruit allows you to put someone to sleep by simply touching
Insane
them,
Asylum.
which, you know, is already ridiculously useful in any fight, but that's really just the start of it, because once your target is asleep, you can then manipulate their dream in the following ways. You could change and manipulate the dreams however you want, which could be either incredibly enjoyable or absolutely
seems
terrifying,
extremely
of course.
pointless.
You can also physically
I'm not gonna
attack your
lie.
target in the dream world, which wouldn't damage their actual body because that's just too absurdly broken, let's be real, but enough damage and you could break their minds. And this power also would allow you to communicate through dreams, so you can talk to an ally as
This
long
fruit's
as
so
they would be
useless.
asleep somewhere in the world.
Not gonna
And
lie.
to top it all off, awakening this fruit could also let the user manifest their dream creations into the real
Now,
world.
that
to a
would be
certain degree,
cool.
which, yeah, if you've ever had any wild and crazy and really nightmarish dreams like I have, then
It's just
should
you, though?
know just
Oh.
how insane and terrifying that ability truly is. Which
It's
now
fucking
brings
somewhat
us
better.
to the #1 best devil fruit that would break the One Piece world that you guys submitted, which is
Cactus?
the Play fruit submitted by Joe. Clearly not an average Joe, because at first I thought this would just be, you know, kind of like the game fruit that we discussed earlier, but wow, was I wrong. I mean, just listen to this. The basic power of this fruit allows you to make any sort of game into a binding contest in the real world. For example, if you're in a fight against a super strong opponent, you can use this fruit to turn the fight into a game that decides the outcome. And yeah, to truly understand how
So pretty much, if I had this fruit, I wouldn't lose. Because I'd be like, hey, 1v1 me, bro, in an Elden Ring or Overwatch, and you're cooked. Nobody's stopping me. I would be Kaido, Big Mom, Shanks, Mihawk, Garp, my goat Smoker. Nobody will be able to win against me. Even like you guys in chat, you guys will get smoked. Alright?
broken this is, let's
'Cause
just
I'm a
imagine
god-tier
you
gamer
or
like
I
that.
ate this fruit and strolled up to Blackbeard. Well, of course, there's no way that
No?
we would ever beat
What's
an
that?
emperor like Blackbeard in a fight, but using the fruit here, we could just make it so that he has to play a life and death game of
Oh, easy!
rock, paper, scissors. The loser is literally killed.
Dude,
Sure, I mean,
that's
to be
so
fair,
good.
It might be a 50-50 chance, but it's infinitely
Is that
better
stalling
than
it?
having no
Bro, I'm pretty much
chance
done
at
with
all,
it.
right? For another
Oh,
perfect
I still got a
example,
super
let's say
chat. Hey,
Bounty
thank you,
Hunter
brother. Thank
Zoro
you.
comes to collect the
Thank you,
bounty
thank you,
on your
thank you.
head.
Appreciate
Well,
that.
instead of fighting, you
I'm a
simply
dollar
challenge
richer,
him
guys.
to
Hey,
erase
thank you,
your
Icicle.
base, and you will
Appreciate you.
100% beat the always lost swordsman. So, you know,
bro's in
a
the
truly broken
bathroom.
ability, especially if you know your opponent's weaknesses.
Was there a
because
message
with
to
its
it? 'Cause I
powers,
don't-
even a regular person has a chance to defeat
check it in a second.
the strongest characters in the story. But if you actually end up in the One Piece world and you want a true cheat code to become super powerful in One Piece, then there's really nothing better that you can do than eat one of these 5 actual devil fruits in One Piece. And if you want to see exactly what those broken devil fruits are, you can click that video right here. Again,
It's on the video right
huge
there.
shout out to
Bro, what
everyone
a cookie,
all
Ghost.
over the world who
All right, well,
submitted.
anyways, yeah, that was the 15 devil fruits that would break One Piece if real. I think the strongest fruit there, I would say the let me go back a little bit. I think it was the bottle fruit. Yes, I want to say the bottle fruit. It's either between the bottle fruit or the game Noid thingy. That thing is broken. Same with the share fruit. Those ones were cool though. They were cool concepts. 500 from Lurker Games. All right.